curious video coming out of Jets camp. Aaron Rodgers looking, let's say, uncomfortable. Worth noting, this is his right ankle that is being checked out, attended to. His Achilles was his left, so no official reports from the Jets.
This is what looks weird to me.
He did continue to
moving.
practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so something or nothing.
That's something. I don't care so much about the beginning of that video, but the video of him running around, which is so odd because what is it? It's May 30th, so it's almost June. And he was going to play a football game in December. So that was, I don't know, this is 6 months ago that he was, you know what I mean? He was going to be able to play a pro football game if the Jets were still in it. And so I don't know if it's like there was a setback or something.
You realize he's making fun of Aaron Rodgers for doing everything he possibly could do to try to get back and play an NFL football game. We crucify players for sitting out, for not playing, for load management, for being too soft. People were yelling at Deshaun Watson saying he's not really injured. What is he doing? It's up to him, this and that. Now we have a quarterback shredding their Achilles and doing every single thing he can to try to get back on the field as quickly as possible. And Nick Wright wants to just make fun of him for it. That makes no sense at all. I mean, it's actually absurd. It's kind of disgraceful. I understand you don't like Aaron Rodgers. I understand if lots of people don't like Aaron Rodgers. But to try to pull someone down for doing everything they can to get back on the field makes no sense to me. Because the dude is getting paid, has made hundreds of millions of dollars. He doesn't need to play ever again. He doesn't need to do anything ever again. He literally never has to even leave his house for the rest of his life. Ever. And he could spend like $1 million a day. Because he's making a gajillion dollars just off of interest alone. And yet he's still doing everything he can to get back out there. So to have him kind of try to just throw shade at him like that, just off the top, it just lands so low to me. It really does.
Things lingering, but if 6 months ago you were about ready to play a game, and now you're, to me, ambling about gingerly on the practice field, that is concerning in a similar way that I talked about last year with Joe Burrow. That when everyone was talking about him coming back from the calf, I was not saying I'm worried he's going to tear the calf or tear the Achilles. I was worried that because he wasn't fully mobile, he was going to suffer a different injury, not going to be able to protect himself. So, Wilds, that's how I feel about it.
I agree.
I don't know how you feel about it as our resident Jets skeptic.
Well, I'm a resident Jets skeptic.
Okay, but I want to talk a little bit more about this because what Nick is saying. Listen, as someone who's been injured a lot, I know exactly what it's like. I've had multiple surgeries. I know the recovery process. The fact that it's his opposite foot also makes sense. Because when you injure let's just use the basic, right? Your leg. Let's say you injure your right foot. You have to now favor your left foot. And you're putting a lot of undue stress on it. So a lot of times, the opposite foot, it gets really sore, gets overworked. You have some muscle imbalances because you're walking differently. A huge part of physical therapy is just getting your gait correct, which is just how you walk, making sure you walk normally at the end of the day. Granted, it's a lot different for professional athletes because their expectations are a lot high. For those of you who don't know who've never really been injured, if you've been injured and you go to physical therapy, really, as long as you can just tie your shoes and go to work and you can just walk semi-normally, you're considered fully recovered. That's it. And the insurance won't even pay for you anymore. Obviously, it's significantly different expectations for a professional athlete, but this is all par for the course here, right? Like, I understand that he's kind of having some of these lingering issues. It's still going to take a little bit more time. That's what these OTAs and preseason, all this stuff is for you to get back into shape, to get reacclimated. If you didn't need these things, even the healthiest player needs these things, they wouldn't have them. They would just not do anything, and then boom, week 1, let's go. So this makes sense. I'm not saying it's 100% nothing because I don't know what's going on exactly. Maybe he actually did roll his ankle or something. I have no idea, right? None of us do. But if he's just kind of having some soreness and wants to get it examined, to me, this is all par for the course. It absolutely makes sense. I can't tell you how many times, especially when I was younger and when I got injured, because before I just knew that this was a thing, I'd run to the doctor or run to the physical therapist and be like, oh my God, but like my left knee is killing me, or my left hip is killing me, because all my surgeries were on my right knee. And they would be like, well, yeah, that makes sense, because, which is what I just explained to you. So this is something that any person who's been injured or any athlete is very strongly aware of. So I just don't think we need to blow this out of proportion here.
Dick, I'm also, Danny, the most empathetic of everyone here.
Everyone says that about you.
Except for Rodgers, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not true, because I am on Hobble Watch vigilantly.
Hobble Watch.
When Giannis was wincing in pain,
that's true.
I said, you know what? This is worrisome. And then Brew yelled at me, it's football, toughen up. Brew wants everyone to play through everything. Nick is like, it's not a big deal. Injuries happen. You get a treatment. I'm on Hobble Watch. Jamal Murray, Hobble Watch. I'm concerned and worried. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure if he saw this video down some Reddit rabbit hole, he would be like, you know what? They're making something out of nothing. Maybe. I hope so. But if we saw Joe Burrow on Hobble Watch, or Josh Allen on Hobble Watch, or Lamar on Hobble Watch, we would all be very nervous. Now, this is not the Achilles ankle, but the fact that the oldest quarterback in the league is the only one, and I've scoured for Weird and Wonderful, all the OTAs, Caleb's moving, everybody's moving fine.
And Caleb's
This
not
is the only, Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback I've seen his foot. That's it.
Is it, and this isn't my revelation, but this has all been all on social media, it does look to me like it's probably a blister.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And a blister, Nick, could, I mean, they put something over it and taped it and all that. But that could lead to your gait being, a little
You
off.
think he was rolling out that way because of a blister?
It's possible. I think it's possible. A blister, maybe the bottom of the shoe, the heel of the shoe is bothering you, rubbing up against the blister. He's 40, so I get, is everything something at 40? But I think I would bet it's just a blister and it's rubbing up against the shoe and it's probably bothering him a little.
But I think that last point is certainly how I felt about it. It doesn't matter if we never saw this video. It would be the most watched, gait and hobble. We'd be studying every step this guy takes. We've never seen a 41-year-old quarterback try to come back from a torn Achilles in the NFL for a team with Super Bowl expectations. So we're going to be watching every step he takes in August at training camp, in September, in November, if he makes it that far. Like, there's a ton of skepticism about the Jets being able to protect Aaron Rodgers with that offensive line and all the injury-prone veterans that they brought in, and then the rookie that they're going to be relying on. So maybe this video is something, maybe it's nothing, but it's not unfair to speculate given his age and the injury.
It's definitive. Hold on. I don't mean to be rude. It can't be nothing.
If it's a blister, it's not nothing.
Here is Wilds' point is, in my opinion, the correct one, which is of all the quarterbacks that we know are starting, if we were to, let's say we were to just see the shadow of them rolling out and ranked it and said, hey, who's the one that looks like he is having the most trouble moving? And then it turns out, big reveal, oh, it's also the oldest guy, and it's also one of two guys coming off an Achilles. That is definitively something. You can't tell me that's nothing.
But it's not the same foot he had. So you're saying the Achilles is still bothering him a little bit, and it's
Drake
forced him
May
to
rolling out like that,
compensate?
I would think it was something.
Correct.
Okay, if it comes out and it's true that's a blister and the shoe is right where the shoe is rubbing up against it, you gonna tell me that's a huge deal?
Yes. Here's why I'm gonna tell you that.
Huge
because
deal? No,
yes,
not a huge deal.
Hold on. No, wait a moment. Because I think you'll agree with me. If you are in a place where a blister makes you visually somewhat debilitated on a rollout, I don't think you're going to make it through a 20-game NFL season. Call me crazy, but I think over the course of a year, you're going to suffer more than a blister.
But he could just be not padded up for the blister develops.
Not padded up for the blister.
Yeah, you put a
Blisters can be big and painful.
Guys.
It may not have burst yet.
Bro.
It could burst.
Hold on. All right. So you guys think that...
Dude, it's OTAs. yes, when you have a blister or any of those aches and pains, you're more likely to kind of just surrender to it rather than try to overcome it. If it was just a blister and he was in a game, he would not roll out like that. That I believe wholeheartedly. But when you're in practice, you are. I've had crazy blisters in my life. I've had crazy heel problems in my life because I grew so fast. I grew like faster than my body could handle. I hit puberty hard, you know what I'm saying? And and I had to get casts on my feet because my heels, because I was like growing through my growth plates or whatever. I mean, it was insane. And my heels, I came back from a tournament. This was specifically a baseball tournament now. And I finished the tournament. I played unbelievable, by the way. My best week ever. And I was in such agony. And then, of course, in typical fashion, as soon as I finished that tournament, I then was playing for another league, completely different. And I was in such pain that I couldn't even make it. Like, I played outfield and pitch. I couldn't even make it to the outfield. And then, so they just put, rather than just be like, hey, you're just not going to play, they're like, we're going to put you at first base. And it was just because that was as far as I could go. And since that league did not really matter, because it was just like it wasn't like a league that I really cared about at that time. It was like a lower level league that you just kind of just kept playing just for the sake of playing. And I just could bear, I mean, like tears in my eyes. Like I could not get out there. That's how much in pain I was. But I was in the same amount of pain during that tournament that I was in that actually mattered, that actually the stakes actually mattered, that there was actually people that were there that, you know, were watching you that mattered, scouts, whatever it may be. And I balled out. I did everything that I needed to do, even though I was in absolute. I also sliced my hand open like a day before. I remember my dad was freaking out because I was working a job and I was putting up, you know, the ceiling with the lights with like the they usually have at schools and stuff like that, and it's got like the plastic cover over it. It's like a real long rectangle. I had to like get that off, and it slid down and sliced my hand open. When you have a sliced hand open, you try to grip a bat or throw. I mean, it was brutal, but I just did it. But in practice and after, it was like I couldn't walk, I couldn't throw, I couldn't move. I was just completely down for the count. So again, and any athlete knows that. Any athlete knows that. Just look at, whether you're a current athlete, an ex-athlete, or even just a fan, just look at other players. You see this with basketball players more than anything. Watch them walking when they're at the airport, or when you see them like walking after a game or through the tunnel, whatever. The way they walk, they look like they're not even athletic. They look like someone broke both their kneecaps. They're like, the way they move is just so like, they can't do it. And then watching their warm-ups, they like don't even like jump. And I mean, it looks like someone has like jacked up the gravity on them, right? And then the game starts and they're balling out, jumping 30 feet in the air. So this is just someone who just has never played sports and doesn't understand. I mean, that's really what this reads to me, sounds like to me. Because any athlete will know that this is just totally par for the course. And when you're just talking about OTAs and the stakes don't matter, yeah, you feel like every ache and pain and you kind of surrender to it way more than you would when the stakes actually. My thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that this is something or nothing? Do you think that this is a big deal, apparently, as Nick is trying to say? And he said it was a huge deal. Or do you think that this is all just nonsense and, my God, we just have nothing to talk about in May or June for the NFL, so we just got to talk about something? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.